Your 2026 Social Security raise was 2.8%. That is the headline. Here is the part the headline does not tell you. Before your raise even hits your account, the government has already taken almost half of it back, and almost nobody is telling you how.
Let us start with the number. For 2026, the Social Security Administration announced a 2.8% cost of living adjustment. They call it COLA. For the average SSDI recipient, that works out to about $44 a month.
$44 sounds like something. It is supposed to help you keep up with inflation, with groceries, with rent, with everything that costs more now than it did last year.
Here is what the press release did not put in bold print. The standard Medicare Part B premium for 2026 went up from $185 a month to $202.90 a month. That is a $17.90 jump, and for most people on SSDI, that premium is taken directly out of your Social Security check before you ever see it. Before you ever spend $1 of your raise, the government is already reaching for almost half of it. So let us do the actual math. $44 raise minus $17.90 in new Medicare premium. The real raise, $26.10, $26. That is the truth of your 2026 cost of living adjustment for most disabled workers. $26 to cover an entire year of higher rent, higher groceries, higher utilities, higher everything. The people this hits hardest are the people who can least afford it. SSI recipients, disabled adults living on a federal benefit that just went from $967 a month to $994 a month. $27 extra to cover everything. People on SSDI with smaller benefits because they were disabled young and never had time to build up high earnings. People with Medicare premiums coming straight out of their check and no second income coming in to absorb the difference. If you are on benefits or you take care of someone who is, hit subscribe. I cover the actual disabled American experience here, not the brochure version, the real one. Now let us get to the other 2026 changes the SSA hopes you do not pay attention to. Next change. Substantial gainful activity. The SSA calls it SGA. For 2026, the limit went up to $1,690 a month for non-blind workers, $2,830 a month for blind workers. That sounds generous until you understand the trap. Earn $1 over that limit, even once, and the SSA can start a review of your case. You can lose your entire benefit, not because you got rich, because you tried. Then there is the trial work period, the TWP. The SSA says you can test your ability to work without immediately losing benefits. For 2026, any month you earn over $1,210 counts as a trial work month. You get 9 of those in any 60-month window. Hit 10 and your benefits start coming apart. Most people on SSDI never even know they are in a trial work period until the letter shows up. By then, it is too late. There is one more 2026 change that almost nobody is talking about. Last year, the SSA started something called Payroll Information Exchange, PIE. It lets them pull your wage data directly from payroll companies, with your permission. The pitch is simple. You do not have to report your wages every month. The problem is also simple. Once you sign that permission slip, the SSA sees everything you earn the moment you earn it. There is no buffer. No room for a paperwork mistake to slow them down. Some disability advocates worry that this will speed up benefit terminations, not slow them down. So what do? First, check your actual monthly deposit in January and compare it to December. Do the subtraction yourself. Not what the news says you got, what actually arrived.
Second, if you work at all, even part-time, track your gross earnings every single week. Not your take-home, gross. The SSA does not care about your taxes. They care about the number on top.
Third, if you are thinking about trying to work, talk to a disability attorney before you start. Most of them do free consultations. One conversation can save your benefits. Here is the bigger picture. The 2.8% COLA was supposed to keep your benefits in line with inflation. Real grocery prices went up faster than that. Real rent went up faster than that. Real utilities went up faster than that. The math the SSA used does not match the math at your store, and the part of your raise that did make it through, the government is already taking back through Medicare. This is not paranoia. This is the published math from the SSA's own Red Book. We just had to read it.
There is one more 2026 threat almost nobody is talking about: overpayment letters. The SSA sends these when they decide they paid you too much in a previous month, maybe years ago, maybe a clerical error on their end. It does not matter.
The letter shows up, sometimes for hundreds, sometimes for thousands, and by law, they can start taking it back out of your monthly check. In 2024, the SSA temporarily lowered how much they could take. In 2025, they raised it back up. In 2026, there is no telling.
If you get an overpayment letter, do not ignore it. You have 60 days to ask for a waiver or a reconsideration. After 60 days, your appeal rights start to disappear.
Here is something almost no one on disability is told about: ABLE accounts. ABLE stands for Achieving a Better Life Experience. Every state has one. It is a tax-advantaged savings account for people with disabilities.
You can save up to $19,000 a year into one of these accounts in 2026 without losing your SSI eligibility, without losing your Medicaid. Most disability advocates I have talked to had to bring it up themselves because the caseworker never did. If you are on benefits and you have not heard of ABLE, look up your state's program. It might be the single most useful thing you do this year. Continuing Disability Review, CDR. Every few years, the SSA can pull your file and decide whether you still qualify for benefits. If your case is marked as medical improvement expected, review can come every 3 years. Medical improvement possible, every 5 to 7. Medical improvement not expected, 7 years or longer.
The problem. The SSA does not always tell you what category they put you in. They just send the review notice when it is your turn. You get a packet of forms. You have a deadline. If you miss the deadline, your benefits can stop. Not because you got better, because you missed a form.
For people on SSI, there is one more cliff to watch in 2026, the Medicaid cliff. Most states tie Medicaid eligibility directly to SSI eligibility. Lose your SSI for any reason, and you can lose your Medicaid the same month. No health insurance, no prescription coverage, no durable medical equipment coverage. For a wheelchair user, that can mean no chair repairs, no new batteries, no cushion replacement. The Medicaid while working state threshold went up for 2026, which helps people trying to work part-time. For everyone else, the cliff is still there, watching, quiet.
Here is what the news will not say. The 2.8% COLA was calculated using a measure of inflation that does not match what disabled people actually spend money on. We spend more on healthcare, more on transportation, more on housing because we cannot live just anywhere, more on food because we cannot always cook our own meals.
The basket of goods the SSA uses to measure inflation does not weight those things the way our lives weight them. So when the news says 2.8% matches inflation, what they mean is inflation for average Americans, not for us.
So here is what you can do besides watch and wait. Call your representative. I know, it sounds pointless, but the offices that get the most disability-related calls are the offices that put disability issues on their agenda. Even if you only call once a year, the volume gets logged. Second, join a disability advocacy group, even online. Information moves through those groups before it moves through the news. By the time the news has a story, advocacy groups have known for months.
Third, talk to other people on benefits. Compare your January deposit. Compare your overpayment letters. The system counts on us being isolated. We do not have to be. Tell me in the comments, what did your January deposit actually look like compared to December? Did you see the full raise, or did Medicare quietly take it back? Have you ever gotten an overpayment letter? Did you know about ABLE accounts before this video? I read every single comment. The more of us who share our actual numbers, the harder it is for the SSA to pretend nobody noticed. I am not a lawyer. This is not legal advice. This is just the math, told straight. See you in the next one.